Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something.
I wasn't expecting that either.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Okay. So, where would you like to start?
So, first, I first wanted to go back a couple of sessions. Not last time, but the time before.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked with a 17-year-old.
Okay.
Right? And I think last time I told you that I had felt a release of energy.
Right.
But I didn't tell you the whole story, and I don't know why. It just got away from me. But what happened after our session, not last, but before, was that I might just be talking bullshit right now, but I went on a journey and felt I did some unburdening myself with her, with a 17-year-old.
Great.
And I think that really contributed to that release in energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to say that. And then, if we can park that one, I then wanted to.
Okay.
Last time, though, I did the same thing after last time, but only with part of some other work. I was able to do some unburdening. But what happened last time? And so what are you to say now? Okay, so we worked with this part of me that is not able. This part of me that is afraid of closeness. We call it intimacy or closeness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've discovered that part actually has at least two big parts. So this wall, this big protector behind that, there are at least two sets of protectors, maybe more, but that is two big sets. And we worked and after the session, I was able to get in contact with one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the one that's directly connected to a lot of awful, awful things that my mom told me when I was 30.
Right.
It's related to my sexuality. She was very graphic in a really, really negative and awful way.
Mm-hmm.
And then you asked me, did something else happen when I was around 30-ish?
Yes.
And I said I couldn't think of anything.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was 32, I got married.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm going to say right now, we don't need to dwell on it because I have actually worked on it not on myself, because I want to work on the other. No, I want to work on the other part of the protector, because I think I'm starting to unwind this one. But but I think, because when I got back from having seen my mother that summer, and I got back, I was engaged.
Mm-hmm.
I was a basket case.
Mm-hmm.
I was so depressed and had zero self-confidence. And both my to-be husband and myself, we would see, why are we going to get married? Do we really want to get married? Are we living together? Do we really want to get married at all? It's a good idea. I don't know why he finally did it, but I know why I finally did it. It was almost like that was a savior. If I hadn't done that, I could have killed myself. Because that was kind of a little straw that proved my mother wrong.
Right. Okay.
So the good stuff. Okay. So that was the way I went into that marriage then. And of course, it was very rocky from the start, even if we stayed together for 16 years, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It was a long one. But that part of the protectors, that's kind of that fear of closeness and intimacy, those protectors that are saying that saying awful things about me and my sexuality.
Right.
Those, I think whatever. I feel like I'm starting to loosen up that, and I can see where that is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And I can also see how far down I was and what I did. My marriage was kind of my savior in a way.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
And I actually took that 30-year-old I was able to unburden some of her. I was able to take her somewhere. So it may very well come up again. It's not like it's all gone and everything is now super duper, but there is an other part of that fear of closeness and intimacy, which is much, much younger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is a fear for my own safety, in a just existential safety. It's nothing to, well, it's like, it's hard to, it's just pure fear that if I get get to a certain, and it doesn't have to be sexual. It could be any kind of closeness, actually. But if I get to a certain point in closeness, that then I will be taken advantage of, and I will be if I was a chicken, all my feathers will be plucked off, and I will just look like a chicken without feathers.
I believe I've heard you use that metaphor before.
Yeah,
I think that we might have.
Plucked chicken.
I think we might have, glimpsed maybe this exile to a degree, because it sounds to me like that part that is afraid of, losing everything, having things taken away from it.
Yeah, we have worked with that, and I think that was we were able to unburden at least part of that exile when I took her to the beach, right? This one might be even older. It may be at the stage where she didn't have words.
Okay.
And I don't know if I should get so I don't know how much I should get hung up in. We are just talking now. We're not going into it. How much I should get hung up in? Maybe that whether that baby was sexually abused.
Right.
Do I need to know that? Part of me says, yes, I need to know that in order to feel full compassion with her. But do I really need to know that? Because there is, I may get to a place where I can feel that was probably what happened. But there is, things that happen to you when after you have words, it's easier to get a memory picture, right? So I don't know if I should just. Part of me want to know, want to at least feel if that feels true or not. And that's not because I want to feel it again or feel it, or it's because I want to be able to just because just thinking about it makes me feel poor creature if that happened, right? If something else happened to you to be poor creature, but it's if I could, so that's where I am. Am I able to feel that full compassion with that just being a big question mark, right?
Yes.
Because I know that all I feel what I feel is that lack of safety is even younger than the one that I took to the beach.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That's what that's where I am.
Yeah. That makes sense to me, that this part has this desire, this need to know, need to have the story. And with the belief that without knowing the story, you may not be able to have the full compassion for this part and unburden it.
Yeah. But that may not be true. It could just be something I believe that,
What might not be true?
That I need to know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I would suggest that it is that you don't need to know.
That feels like a relief, actually.
Each part has its story and it has its memories that it's able to share with you. And it's common, right, for these very young parts to not be able to express or remember the full story. And I think almost every time I'm doing IFS with anyone, the same message comes up over and over of, how much of the story do we really need to show compassion and to deal with this part in the present with what it's feeling right now. And it's not dismissing memories or dismissing, the importance of what really happened, but it's just working with parts as they are now and with the information they have now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some parts might might tell stories that aren't true.
Exactly.
A part could say I had sexual abuse and maybe that didn't happen.
Exactly.
And still, if that is what the part is carrying, is that emotion, that fear, then we can meet it there without going back and getting all of the history right.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's fortunate too, because there's so much of our lives that we're not able to be conscious and aware of. And if that was a requirement to love ourselves, to love our parts, then I don't think this would be effective.
No, you're so right. So all I know, or all I feel I know, is that unsafe part is older than what we unburdened a while ago.
Okay. Yeah.
And I would love for that part to feel safe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can just send that message to your whole system that that's something that you want for it. Last time we talked, we were working with this protector that was afraid to go to a place that might feel too painful or too shameful.
Mm-hmm.
How is that now?
Well,
is that part up and saying the same things, or?
No, that part has already kind of revealed to me that so that part has revealed to me a lot of the shame. And when I looked at it, it didn't kill me, right? It's actually, it didn't. When I looked at, so let's put it this way. So that part, I think, that part told me after we hang up and in the following days,
mm-hmm.
that it was that part that told me about the two sets of protectors, right? Mm-hmm. One that had to do with a lot that had to do with sexual shame, and the other that had to do with just pure existential fear of not being safe.
Right.
And it was almost like it kind of pulled up the curtain, or put kind of holes in the walls I could look in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's trusting you now to.
It's trusting me.
Do that.
It's trusting me. At least it is trusting me more. And it also seems like I got some answers from it about one of the protector groups, but it hasn't given me very much. I don't know if it knows itself where that lack of safety comes from, but I think it does allow me. I think it feels comfortable me going and what did I say? Finding out more.
Finding out more, yeah. Figuring out where those feelings are coming from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The parts that are carrying that.
Yeah, it's not. So yeah. So it either lifted the curtain or it provided those holes in the wall. It is more comfortable.
Great. Are there any other parts that are coming up that are objecting to that?
No, I don't think so. There are some parts that are saying, "What's the use?" You know it's, or you believe it's old. So what else can you find out? But maybe it's just saying that because it doesn't want to go there.
Yeah, and it might not understand the process.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
No, there isn't. No, there aren't any. I can't feel any part who's kind of waving the red flag.
Great. Okay. And if they want to, if they need to jump in, they can.
Yeah, they can.
Mm-hmm.
They can wave yellow, right, red, orange, whatever flags they want.
Right. Right. Okay. So we're looking to learn more about this part that has this fear of getting too close, and the existential fear about its safety.
Yeah, I have this, I don't know what to call it, if it's called a feeling or an image or what, or sense. There is this sensation from a really, really early age that I didn't believe the world was safe.
Yeah.
The world was not a safe place.
When you're hearing that message, how do you notice it in your body?
It's almost everywhere. It sits, I can feel it almost on the surface, right under my skin, like kind of nerve endings. And I can also feel it in my stomach. And I think I can feel it in my chest. It's like almost like, yeah, it's pretty pervasive.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just let it know that you notice it in all of those ways. Invite it to notice you. Just let it know that you'd like to get to know it better. Are you noticing anything more about it now?
It gets very easily, or I get, but no, I have a hard time kind of unmeshing or whatever you call it, because I just realized I know this, but what the thought that came in was that I get very easily startled. And when I get startled, I tense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that part, that exile, it was like, it's almost like predisposed to getting startled.
Right.
Anything can kind of startle it.
Right. Yeah. Just let it know that you're feeling that you're feeling the sensations that it has been carrying.
Yeah. And of course, I have developed a lot of techniques not to get so started, not to feel that, right? Like,
right.
One is to have this kind of calm, stoic, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And then when it gets too much, that hasn't happened as much anymore, but it happened throughout my life. I can get numb, I could dissociate, right?
Right.
But I think a key one is kind of just putting on this stoic. I remember, how old was I? I don't know, well, 5 or 6 or something like that. And I was a wasp. And, I was crawling over my forehead and under my glasses, down my face. And I was just standing there. And everybody around me was screaming. And they were praising me for being so stoic.
Mm. Yeah.
But of course, what I wanted to do was just scream louder than any of those in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can let this part know that you see you see this stoic, maybe it has a part that's stoic, or there's another, it has its own kind of responses. Mm-hmm.
I think all those coping mechanisms are kind of built on gradually, but at the essence, that part is just like I said. What did I say? Predisposed to just be startled.
Right.
It's like you can pick it, you can touch it.
Yeah. It wants to scream.
Yeah. It's kind of just sitting there and waiting for something to happen.
And when you notice that about it, that it has this quality or this condition that it's carrying.
Yeah.
How do you feel towards it, seeing it like that?
I wish I could just veer away from here.
Yeah. Just let it know you want to help it with that fear.
Yeah. Take it away and make it feel safe. It just can, close its eyes and just relax back and just don't have a worry in the.
Yeah. And if this part did want to scream and that's what it was feeling, would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can let it know.
If it feels fearful, it's better that it screams, so then it just breathes.
It doesn't have to hide its emotions from you. Yeah. Let it know that right now with you, it can show you anything it wants and react in any way it wants.
Yeah, if it's fearful, breathe it out.
Yeah.
Don't hold it in.
Right. How's it responding to that?
I don't think it's completely able to take it in.
Yeah. Let it know that you really want to understand it. And you want to understand what it's been like for it. How hard it's been. Just ask it to show you in any way that it wants.
It isn't talking to me right now. It's almost like so what's happening right now is that I get what I see is a being that is kind of in shock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how are you being with that being? Does it feel close?
That feels pretty close.
Mm-hmm. Is it okay with you being that close?
I think it's a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
like a big shadow
Yeah.
hovering. I can't even say that word. Hovering over it.
Hovering. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, maybe take a step back and invite it just to notice you as who you are now. Let it know that those other parts are gone, that you've gotten space from them. And if it does feel too overwhelming, you can always just back out. This part doesn't have to share anything with you, doesn't have to talk.
I think it's saying, basically saying it's not safe. It's not, I can't relax. It's not safe. I have to be in this rigid.
Right. Right. You could ask what it's like, how it is for this part to feel and to be in that state of shock and rigidity.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Because it can't rest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also not only exhausting, but it takes away all color.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say deadening, but it's so tense that it's, if it was dead, it would just be limp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how is it feeling about you being there now? I know a moment ago it felt like you were hovering over it.
Well, I did back off a little.
Uh-huh.
I'm not over it. I'm kind of more on the side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So there is, well, I don't know how many feet there are, but there is some.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you might keep experimenting with that. I know we've talked before about kind of getting on the floor with them, with an exile. If that feels right, or repositioning yourself. Again, just to help her notice who you are and that you're not one of those parts or one of those people that she has to fear.
No, I will only come closer if she wants me to.
Right, good.
I feel water would be good for her though. Warm water.
Ask her if she'd like some warm water.
She would like to immerse herself in water.
Yeah. Tell her you can help her to come out of that place and have whatever it is that she wants or needs. Just check with her.
She is craving warmth, but she's not sure she can surrender to it.
That's okay. It's nice that you're able to learn this from her. See what else you can learn about her. Just asking what it's been like for her. Tell her you really want to understand, you really want to get it.
Here she has been living in is so intense. It's like it could break all her bones. It could break her heart. It's just it's so intense that she can barely breathe.
And it's also influenced her to develop some beliefs about the safety of the world.
Mm-hmm. The world is not safe.
Yeah. You could ask her what other beliefs she has that are a result of this terror.
Nobody will help her. She has to do it herself. Whatever it is. Taking in is dangerous. She takes it. Then she opens herself up. And then they'll grab everything.
And how does it feel for her to be able to share that with you?
I think that feels good. Yeah, I mean, not good in cuddly, soft, delicious good, but
Right.
good.
Yeah.
Playing good.
Better than having no one to share it with, right?
Yes, good.
Yeah.
And I think she is realizing that I'm listening.
Right.
She's not expecting very much of me,
Right.
but she is realizing that I'm listening.
Yeah. And that you're not reacting in the ways that she's used to.
Yeah.
You're not punishing her for sharing her fear.
Yeah, and I'm not ridiculing her.
Mm-hmm. You're not pushing her to tell you the whole story or to go at a certain pace.
Mm-mm. No. I'm not trying to fix it.
Mm-mm. Yeah, you could just let her know that you're willing to be this person for her and to keep doing this. If it takes repeated times of kind of coming back and listening, and these just getting these bits and pieces.
She is telling me that even if she doesn't trust the world, or that it will do her any good, she has a longing. Even if she cannot relax, she has a longing for resting. She has a longing for being warm, being held, just being. That longing is buried far down because she goes with it and opens, then they will come and take everything.
Mm-hmm.
She can't have, it's like something that it's not available.
Do you want to offer to hold her? Even if it's just for a moment?
She's looking at me. Can I trust you? Will you let me go if I don't want anymore? And yeah, I'll let you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just whatever feels right.
This could just be my imagination. Well, everything is kind of my imagination, but it feels like she's crying.
Yeah. Just let her cry. You can provide that space for that to be okay for her. It's okay with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You can't stop crying.
Just stay with her.
Yeah, the cry is loosening up something. She's not as rigid.
Yeah.
She's heavier.
Yeah. She didn't feel like she could cry before.
And I think what feels so good for her, what it's, I believe it's her saying this, that it feels so good not to be to feel that she's not alone crying. She's with me crying.
Right. Right. Yeah. Just let her know that you're happy that you can be that person for her.
Mm-hmm.
And that you can keep being that person for her.
I think now she just wants to sleep.
Did she ever take you up on that offer to be held?
Yes, I'm holding her.
Yeah.
No, she just wants to sleep.
Okay.
Cried herself out for now. I just got this image. This is when my daughter was born. We were at the hospital, and they put her in. She was just newborn, and they put her in a crib next to me, and she was crying, and she was crying. And I did something I wasn't allowed to do. So I took her out. I put her in those hospital beds are really narrow, right? So I put her in my bed. She was all bundled up. And she did stop crying. But I didn't feel 100% connected to her. But I was able to make her stop crying by putting her up in my bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm sure that you're aware that there are many other steps and things that we can do for exiles.
Yeah. I want to do more for her.
Yeah.
It almost feels like I don't know if she wants to go, if I can go any further right now. You know what I mean? Unless it's something, unless it's something a little different.
There is, so the other steps that I usually suggest involve asking a part if they'd like to leave that time and place. Well, before that, often asking if they'd like for you to go back into their time to kind of redo any memories that they're having with them, inviting them into your time, scanning their body, having them scan their body for where they're holding these painful memories or beliefs and taking them out.
I want to do all of that.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start though.
Well, I'm fine doing that now or at the next time we talk. And I would suggest that you just check in with this part. If she's just wants to sleep and be held.
Yeah, it feels like it would be great that it would be good to have some a rest and then do. But everything you said sounded really, it's a weird word to use, intriguing. It's piquing my curiosity.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Like going into her time, she going into my time, scanning her body, scanning my body, where does it sit? I would love to do all that. It sounds, I don't know if, I feel like it sounds incredibly rich.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah. Okay. Well, as long as you don't forget about this part, then
please remind me if I do. No, I can't forget about her.
I don't think you will.
I mean, what happened right now was kind of awesome, actually.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because I was able to connect with her without asking those question. So why? What happened to you?
Right.
How can it was just being there with her.
Right.
What she felt. It doesn't matter if she had fallen from the 19th floor of a building, or if she just was, crying because she hadn't eaten for 2 hours or whatever.
Right. And that is just like a baby, isn't it? Where you don't really know the story of why they're crying.
No, you don't.
And yet you can provide for them.
Yeah. No, this is actually wonderful.
Yeah, I think so.
I think this is the youngest youngest part of me I've ever met, ever felt into.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And how about those other protective parts? How are they feeling about all of this? The ones that were afraid to go there, the ones that thought that maybe we had to piece together the whole story.
But they're kind of in awe.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're kind of saying, wow, you found her. They're kind of,
yeah.
I don't feel right now they may well pop up, but right now there's nobody saying no, don't do that. You can't do that because.
Right. Yep. Okay.
I can't believe I just looked at the time and it's actually an hour since we started. It feels like it's like 15, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to getting back to it next time we talk.
Yeah. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. You're doing great.
Have a good night.
Okay. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.